Good morning, InVigorate people. So today's video is all about some simple drills we can do to work on our gait biomechanics, maybe meaning that we walk with more intention, more drive, helping us to activate the right muscles when we're moving and kind of tap into normal biomechanics as we go. Catalyst of this was a session with a patient, and I just thought let's put it all in one video and then you guys can have that resource to work from. So we're going to have a little look at a couple of basics first, and then we're going to build up the level of difficulty, but this would be a nice thing to do before going out for a walk or a run, walk run session, that kind of stuff, or you can just do it as a simple drill whenever you've got a moment if you're waiting for the kettle to boil, for example. So we're going to start off in standing. So you'll notice that we layer the level of difficulty in terms of balance and things. This can be a really nice video to go through for kind of standing balance stuff as well, but bear in mind, have something near you if you do struggle with balance. So you should always be safe when you're working. So you could be in a hallway, for example, or have something near you. If you're out and about, back of a park bench or a tree or something like that will give you the extra support that you need as well. I'm working in bare feet. You could do this in sneakers or trainers if you want to. Equally, you can work in bare feet as well. I tend to just be able to feel the ground a little bit better like that, but if you have any kind of sensory issues, play around with what suits you best. So we're going to start off just finding kind of where we need to be in terms of our neutral position. So in standing, I want you to find a kind of nice parallel stance. Feet maybe hip width, maybe fractionally wider should you need that for balance. Okay, so find a place that you feel secure. You can always narrow your stance as you get more used to these exercises as you go. We're going to get a sense of where our pelvis is. So that might be one hand front, one hand back of pelvis. It might be hands on hips. So it's up to you, wherever you feel best, just get hands on and feel. And you can also use a mirror as well when you're working. So we're just going to have a little play around with where our pelvic neutral is first. And you might need to soften your knees. Don't feel like you need to keep your knees locked here, but I might fall into more of a forward pelvic tilt, more of a backward pelvic tilt. And we're going to visualise our pelvis a bit like a great big mixing bowl. We're going to visualise water in that mixing bowl, so we might spill water out the front of that bowl, spill water out the back of that bowl, and then find a level at which the water is just being contained in that bowl. So our bowl is nice and neutral. For some of you that may be a bit different to where you started, okay? With that kind of bowl in neutral, just have a little feel of the front of your hips now. So that might mean kind of running your hands down the front of your hip. We visualise that our hip joints themselves are kind of in here, so in our hip crease. We want to just feel that our hips are kind of flat at the front. Now that means that then they're in their neutral position. We've got a nice kind of open front of hip. And a lot of the issues we see with gait biomechanics is that people are failing to extend their hips when they're walking. So they're walking along with a bend in the front of their hips, and they're never truly kind of extending their hips, and so then we get stresses going up into back, shoulders, knees, etc. So feel what it feels like to have a really nice flat front of hip and be really stacking yourself in a vertical manner over your feet. Okay, so we're going to start off with that. Now we're going to just keep ourselves in our feet and just find a gentle arm swing. So one of the other components of good normal biomechanics or gait biomechanics is to be able to rotate a little bit. So we're aiming to just rotate our upper half. Pelvis might rotate a bit, and if you wanted to, you could even add a bit more of a swing in. So rotating a bit more through your pelvis, and then see if you can come back to more of a stable pelvis. You'll notice now I'm just moving from kind of here upwards. So we should have our pelvic bowl, and then we should be able to rotate our rib cage on top. Now this in itself will feel like a little bit of a balance challenge. So just seeing whether can you disrupt things a little bit with arm swings and maintain a neutral pelvis and neutral feet. Okay. From here we're then going to see, can I do similar, but I'm just going to swing my arms. So we're going to go for a really exaggerated arm swing. My hands are heavy, my arms are heavy, and you'll notice that my rib cage is spinning a little bit. So if you visualise maybe a little light on your sternum, that light is going side to side. If I show you from the side, again, parallel feet, find our neutral pelvis, find our open hips, and then can I keep that there and just do a bit of an arm swing? Can I rotate through my upper half? For some of you who are thinking about being a bit more active through your upper half, you may visualise the helium balloon attached to the crown of your head. We may have talked about bunny ears growing nice and long to get that intention of stacking up tall, okay? So you could use bunny ears, your balloon, that kind of stuff as we go. And we're just going to spend half a minute, say, just swinging arms, finding a nice heavy arm swing. Now we may have talked in session about doll arms, and that would look like that, where nothing's moving here and it's just all hinging from the shoulder. We want to find a nice fluid reach. You might feel your shoulder blades gliding and sliding. You might feel your rib cage twisting. You might feel your lower back twisting, abs stretching, etc. Okay? Now we're going to change our foot position. So we're going to do something called the kickstand stance. And that kind of refers a bit to like the little stand on a bike that you put down to be able to prop up your bike. We're going to stack ourselves onto one foot and we're just going to place the other foot behind us for a bit of balance. So in theory, if I was to take away my back foot, my position doesn't change. If I come completely side on, I'm in my neutral pelvis, my hip is over my foot, my front of my hip is lovely and flat, and then my other foot is just there for a little bit of support. And you might be pushing up actively out of that back foot. So that's what we mean by a kickstand stance. So I might find myself in a kickstand stance. You'll notice that I'm kind of nice and level with my pelvis still, but I've just got one leg behind me. You may even feel a nice stretch through the front of that back hip. Check pelvis is in its neutral, and then I might just start off finding my arm swing again. I may turn it into a bit more of an intentional movement, and I might add in like a punching motion. And with that punch, one arm comes forward, the other arm draws back. So you'll feel your shoulder blades gliding and sliding. And for some of you, I may have given you a band to pull to activate things as well. Feel free to do a little bit of that. You might do more of a Tai Chi reaching movement. Whatever works for you. What we're trying to do is keep ourselves stable and stacked and active through our lower body in order to be able to free up and rotate our upper body. Okay? From there, the other thing we can do, and we can do this with parallel feet or with split feet, is doing a bit of an up and over. I'm going to go as far back as I can so that you can see my arm, but I'm just going to think about intentionally reaching up, out of my body, and then I'm going to take myself a bit over to the side. Now with yourself in a bit of a kickstand stance, that would be the same side arm as back leg, and from there I feel a lovely stretch through my deep abs and even down into my top of my quads and into my hip flexors as well. So this is then stretching out any of those tissues that might restrict that hip extension as well. So if you were to do that sequence, we've done parallel feet arm swings, just getting a bit of rotation. We've done parallel feet arm swings in more of a marching arms. We've then done split stance, marching arms or punching. And then we've done a bit of up and over on both sides. So we've really kind of woken everything up, got our rotation going, got our hip extension going, and then you're ready to go out on your walk in a much more active fashion. But as I said before, see where you can fit this into your day. Just feel free to kind of pick a few of these and you'll get used to the sequence as you do it a little bit more. A few minutes can make all the difference to how free you feel when you're moving, how much you intentionally kind of move from your hips then when you're out walking. As always, any questions, you know where I am, drop me an email and I can answer them via that. Take care, bye bye.